Okay, here we're back again. We the memory card kicked out after 29 minutes, so we're going to finish off this and then get into our wish lists. Of course, here this is a cool thing. Actually, Dennis ordered this in for me. The Mind Management, the record comic, and it has a little comic and a record in, and it even comes with digital files too, right? So you can listen to it and listen to a comic. So way to go, Matt. You're cool. Okay, here we go.
Vault of Horror EC Archives. This is Volume 5. They've been consistent with releasing the entire line of them. Crime Suspense Stories, Vault of Horror, Vault of Terror, Tales from the Crypt, Weird Science, Aces High, Weird Fantasies. There's a full line of them. They're hilarious reads. They're simple reads. They're a little bit dated. 6, 7, 8 page stories. There's a villain in Crime Suspense Stories. They always get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
Actually, they're more horror-based, or the horror, but they're comedy-based when you start reading them now.
Yeah.
Because they're just over-the-top silly and hilarious.
Yeah.
But they're essential to any big comic book,
Yeah.
graphic novel collection.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the history on them is fantastic, especially with Frederick Wertham and that whole history and juvenile delinquency. This was why it was juvenile delinquency.
I still remember, like you mentioned when we were talking earlier about the famous issue with, I think it was Crime Suspense Stories of the severed head on the subway train or whatever.
The man holding an axe and his wife's severed head.
Yeah. I actually have it as a T-shirt,
So,
right? I can't wear it in school anymore.
No.
People seem to get really upset over it for some reason.
And they did in the 50s too, so.
Oh, okay, this is Young Francis by Hartley Lane. This is actually comes from a book called Pope Hats, and he actually went by a different name too under that, but now Hartley Lane, which it's just like, geez, you got a cool name anyway. Why? But this, and I'm a good bit into this. This is really, really super cool, actually. Young Francis, and this is another one that's been on lots of lists also. Had to put it in, besides the fact that it's cool. Oh yeah.
Alright, One Woman Omnibus, it's the 60s. So that's Diana Prince celebrating the 60s omnibus. Another giant era collected. Obviously a bit controversial. It's when Denny O'Neil kind of stripped of her powers. She became more of a kung fu master and wore high fashion in the 60s.
Yeah.
Denny O'Neil took a lot of flack for it.
Yeah.
But again, it's a giant 60s era that's finally collected. It's essential to any Wonder Woman collection.
Yeah.
They stripped her of her powers multiple times before and after, so. But
this is the original. And I liked it as a time. I was a kid when I first read this, and to me, I thought it was cool because it really brought Wonder Woman, made her really believable. It was just, well, I can believe, I mean, not that I couldn't believe, the invisible plane and all that, but it just added something to it.
It could hurt her then. You could,
yeah,
a villain,
she was vulnerable.
A villain was a legit threat at the time. I suppose like Superman with Lex Luthor.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And you got to come with some silly scheme to try and beat him all the time.
Yeah.
Or Wonder Woman, you had to tie her up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Okay, oh yes, and this is Jason Lutz, Berlin, finally collected in one big volume. This has been, I think it's been about 20 years in the making, the entire series. I actually found a couple of loose issues too in among when I was cleaning out my upstairs storage area. And Jason was actually here in Newfoundland in the summer for an exhibition, Warren Comics, that myself and Paul Tucker and all that. And we had a great chat with him. Really super nice guy. You're super nice there, Jason. But and this is an amazing book. It's super dense in terms of there's just a lot going on in it. And this once again has made a lot of the end of the year lists, right? Okay.
Alright, I'm going to do the Infinity Gauntlet box set.
Oh yeah, here we go. Check this out.
This over. So Marvel's been consistent with releasing giant box sets. They did it for Secret Wars, now the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
I think there was
a general Marvel Masterworks, like all the first
ones. The Avengers Mansion.
Yeah.
But this is the complete Infinity Gauntlet, say trilogy. I don't know, it's Infinity War, Infinity Crusade, Infinity Gauntlet, all the tie-in issues through every comic, and it's a giant Jim Starlin and basically Ron Lim collection, because they worked on most of it through the entire 90s.
Yeah.
So
it's great. You got Crusade and War, which I didn't have in other things, but also too getting the Infinity Watch.
Right.
Because I didn't know where to find those, and then when I found out it was coming in, that's half the reason I got the set really in the end. Plus, it just looks so cool.
And it looks great,
right?
so.
But yeah, Marvel and DC, they both have great production values when it comes to these cool collections like this.
And higher end collection sets.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where this my this sheet, this covering here for the table, that comes
from that.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this one here, Mort Cinder by Alberto Breccia, and written by Hector Germain Osterheld. Now, Osterheld unfortunately was murdered by the Argentinian government for his comics. So, you know, you do powerful comics when someone kills you. This apparently is a classic. Hopefully this is going to be read. Hopefully sometime in the next room. This is in my reading stack. Some stuff I just, especially if I've read it before, I just put it right on.
Just file it away.
File it away. Stuff like this I will read. All right. Okay. Next there for yourself. Oh yeah.
Right. So we have the Inside Mobius. So we tossed into 3 volumes there. Dark Horse is finally starting to release some of the Mobius work. The Inside Mobius, the Art of Edina.
Yeah.
Edina was released before, so they're doing very consistent runs of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully they start releasing other ones like Arzak, Long Tomorrow, some of the out of print stories.
The Horny Goof.
I mean, it's so much work that hopefully we start seeing some of them. You can build a giant Mobius collection. So
yeah,
because a lot of it in North America and in English is just impossible to find now.
Yeah,
and you can't get it.
Well, especially if they, I mean, if they did, I think if they did the Blueberry ones too, it'd be great. So really nice looking. I love them, and I hadn't read these I had never read this series before either myself. So that was
nice.
The other cool thing, right?
And I ordered a Mobius book for you this year, an oversized one, but you had to get it in French. But it's the only way to get it at the time. So if you eventually get it in English, then that's just a bonus. So
yeah, that's the that was the Airtight Garage.
Yes.
But it was just so beautiful. Okay, and this was a recommendation of you because you had bought this. I hadn't bought it until it came in for you, and when I seen it, it was just like, my God, this is beautiful. Behold Galactus. It is pretty cool, isn't it?
So it's oversized. It's all the key Galactus issues. So it's 48 to 50 Galactus trilogy.
Yeah.
120, 123, which I think John Buscema.
Yeah.
And then you're getting 242 to 244, which is John Byrne.
Yeah.
I think that's Trial of Galactus.
Yeah.
Which is Trial of Reed Richards, but
really,
whatever. Looks like this might be a theme they're starting to do now because in their upcoming list of upcoming 2019 books, there's another giant oversized book set to come out.
Yeah.
So Marvel might be producing a lot of these. And even though it's only a few issues, it's still oversized. It was only $60.
Yeah.
So a giant oversized book of key Fantastic Four issues for $60 is a can't miss deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love right on it.
And I love reading big comics. I don't know what it is, but there's something cool about reading something that big, right?
And it's original size Kirby artwork.
Yeah, it is too.
So and that's a key thing. So.
But yeah. And it's funny. Once I seen it, it was just like, oh, why didn't I order this? Even though I do have it, have these all in various incarnations, right? Oh yeah. Nothing does it like Kirby. Eh? And it's funny because this was one in between when the card ran out of memory and we had to download the thing. I actually remember Killraven because we were talking about P. Craig Russell, and this is still one of my, from the 70s, one of my great. And this was one of the ones that for years I thought, oh, they're not going to redo because of the World of the Wars thing and all that. But I mean, lately Marvel's really stepped up with the Master of Kung Fu and other titles. And Conan. And Conan. Big talk. But this one, like I say, every issue with Russell just became better and better and better. It just blew my mind. So great work there, Don McGregor, who's on my Facebook, my Facebook friends. Great work from you and P. Craig, or Craig. Now, last but and definitely not least, from Ho Chi Anderson comes Godhead. This Ho Chi is probably best known for his autobiography of Martin Luther King, but this is beautiful, beautiful book. I'm still in the midst of finishing this off. Now, I got to meet Ho-Chi, was it last summer? No, not last summer. Probably the fall before then. Oh, hang on a second. Oh no, they're coming for me. Whew, okay.
They're gone.
Oh, thank God. Okay, anyway. So anyway, he was here for a, here in St. John's, Newfoundland for it was some sort of symposium, comic book thing and all that. And so I got to meet him then, and really super, super nice guy. Me and Paul had a great time hanging and chatting with him, and so and funny enough, it's the only soft cover in the entire big books of 2018 thing. So
we're both hardcover fans, so.
But this is worth getting. So run out and get your copy today. Okay, now oh, I guess that's about it for that. But now of course we can chat and I guess ruminate about 2019.
2019. So there's been a lot of books solicited already.
Yeah.
Most of them will go up to just before the fall.
Yeah.
So we did up our own list of the upcoming books that we're both interested in.
Yeah.
And then ones that we'd hopefully like to see solicited for the remainder of the year, or hopefully at some point.
Yeah, our wish list.
There are wish lists that we want to see, so.
You go first, too.
Alright, so mine, I think this is going to get released this week. So it's still going to apply, because we don't have it here as of the video. But it's a Spider-Man Ben Reilly omnibus.
Okay, yeah.
Huge Spider-Man fan. Say what you will about the Clone Saga, it's still an essential key part of the 90s Spider-Man.
For historical reasons alone.
Right. So they released the first 2 Clone Saga omnibus.
Yeah.
That finished off with Ben Reilly taking over Spider-Man. So now Volume 1 is the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider and Spider-Man stories.
Okay.
So you'll see a Volume 1, then a Volume 2 to finish that off, and then you got a 4 massive omnibus set of the Clone Saga.
Oh,
which
excellent.
was only supposed to last a year, but we got about 5 out of it.
That's what you're looking for. Okay. For myself here, House of Mystery, I mean, love that House of Secrets omnibus, but House of Mystery, same thing again. This one, though, has like a lot of Neil Adams. It has a lot more North American artists. There's a lot of Bernie Wrightson, there's some Mike Kaluta in there, like a lot of it.
Right.
So that's definitely high up. And I hope that DC keeps putting out more of the early 70s horror stuff. If not just for the story alone, but the art in all of them is just fabulous. Because a lot of times, a lot of first-time artists got their breaks there and all that. So you get to see some early work from some great people, right?
Right.
Okay, you.
All right. I'll let you talk about the Conan ones.
Okay.
So I got Amazing Spider-Man by Straczynski, Volume 1.
Okay.
So around 2001 era. A lot of great storylines. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 omnibus out of it. So you're going to get the famous 9/11 story from Amazing Spider-Man 36. You're going to get the Civil War tie-in issues.
Okay.
Which means you're going to get Spider-Man revealing his identity to the public. You're going to end up getting that. You're going to get Spider-Man the Other miniseries, or tie-in series, probably included in with it. And eventually later you're going to get the infamous story with Mephisto and getting rid of the marriage and all that. You're going to get that.
People hate it when that happens, don't they?
So.
Okay, with me, of course, Conan the Barbarian Omnibus, Volume 1. I'm a huge Barry Windsor Smith fan, so I'm going to love that. But I was a big Conan fan anyway.
Right.
I mean, I actually read the actual novels, too, because in the early 70s when I was buying these, and because it's hard to find them now, the actual novels, but the bookstores were chock-a-block with them back then, right? It was, I don't know why.
And they have 2 solicited, but it makes you wonder how far they're going to go, because Conan ran for 300 issues almost?
200 to 300, yeah.
Up until 94, 95. Yeah. So it makes you wonder how far they're going to go with the collecting, or are they just going to collect Barry Windsor Smith issues, or...
And then a bit into the... That's what I think. Now, the Savage Sword, meanwhile, I think, because there's... I think those they'll probably run, because, I mean, they're black and white, they're probably cheaper to produce, but there's the art in the, in the Savage Sword, especially the early ones, was... Well, it equaled the comic at the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're
All right, I got Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4.
Okay.
So that is going to collect the Death of Gwen Stacy. You're going to hit that era.
Right.
You're going to get First Punisher, around 129.
Yeah, I got the other. Okay, I got the other
3,
three, yeah.
And you're going to get Harry Osborn's first appearance as Green Goblin. That should be collected. It collects up to around 144. So you're going to get a giant string, and so that's a key era to finally get collected. So that's going to be nice to see. So
you got to have that, yeah. Let's see, what else do I have here? Problem of Susan and Other Stories. That's a Gaiman one. That one's pretty good. And Authentic Police Cases from PS art books. I like the PS art books because they're, I mean, when you look at them, they're done from scans of the comic page, but they do a pretty good job of restoring them. But they still have a feel like you're reading the original comics because they left the ads in them too, right? Okay, perfect. Go for it.
I have a giant list of Marvel here because most of my collection is Marvel based, but I have Hulk by Logan and McGuinness, another Hulk omnibus. So this is with the relaunch debut of Red Hulk.
What was that? No, I'm a big Hulk fan too, but I never did read that. Would you recommend that?
I would recommend it. It was a different era. You started to build a Hulk family.
Okay.
Basically, you started to see Red Hulk. You got a Abomination in it. Rick Jones and becoming A-Bomb.
Yeah.
Then She-Hulk makes a key appearances in it as well. And you build this little Hulk family, which they actually converted into an animated series for a couple of years called Hulk Agents of Smash.
Okay.
Which was very kid-friendly, but it was based off of that run by Logan McGuinness.
I love that Agents of Smash. Right? It's great. For myself here, Disney Masters. This is blocking our view of it, but the Disney Masters I've been collecting, and I was turned on to him by a friend of mine, Sam Johnson. I don't know if you've met Sam. He's the cartoonist usually down there for Cartoonist Night.
Yes, Wednesdays.
Yeah, and he's the one who really turned me onto these Disney Masters. Now, he picks and chooses because there's some he doesn't like, but of course you know how I'm, obsessive about these things. I got to get them all, and I've been liking them because they're totally different from North American duck stories. These are really wild and really strange in some ways, right? Okay, back to you.
All right, I'll just list a couple here really quick. So they're doing a Marvel Heroes Reborn omnibus.
Okay.
So that's going to collect the Captain America, Avengers, Iron Man, and Fantastic Four, when Marvel basically said they have no ideas anymore for the famous characters and sent them off to...
Is that the Avengers? Is that the Reborn?
That is Reborn. So after the Heroes Reborn, George Perez and Busek end up taking over.
Okay.
But this is where you're getting the Rob Liefeld Captain America. You're getting Jim Lee Fantastic Four, which was pretty, but the stories were very 90s.
Okay.
Very Wildstorm and...
Yeah.
So, and I also had Cable and X-Force Omnibus. Quickly, that is basically just going to be X-Force Volume 3. There was an X-Force Volume 1. X-Force Volume 2 is Deadpool and X-Force. And X-Force Volume 3 is now Cable and X-Force. Because it collects some of the Cable tie-in issues. Again, if you have a giant X-Men collection or a fan of X-Force, it continues that giant run. So.
Yeah. Okay, back to me here. EC Archives again, Piracy. And Silver Age Classics, Tales of the Mysterious Traveler. That's another one of those PS art books, which is, of course, the classic, a lot of the classic Ditko stuff.
Okay.
So, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Back to you.
I have Marvel Art of Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. You pointed that out earlier. That looks kind of cool.
It is. I think it's a Barry Windsor Smith cover, but you're probably going to get a lot of the pin-ups that took place in a lot of the magazines and the comics. And a lot of key artists. Looks like it's older work, not so much newer work, but something that is a nice companion piece at the end of the Conan collection. If you have your Conan omnibus and then you have your Savage Sword, it's just something nice to have at the end of it. So.
Okay, I think I'll go for that too. Okay, for me, Creepy Archives, of course. Well, love the fact that Dark Horse decided to finish them off, and Creepy and Eerie Archives will end this year with the final few ones. Thank you, Dark Horse. At least you listen to the public, right? Okay, yourself again there.
So I have X-Men Eve of Destruction. That's going to be another oversized hardcover collection. It's the early 2000s. It's basically the X-Men story after Ages of Apocalypse and Apocalypse 12, in which Apocalypse possessed Cyclops' body. Cyclops comes back. It's basically the last story before the massive X-Men relaunch, based off the new movies.
Okay.
With the Grant Morrison run.
Oh, love that.
So it's the end of that era of the X-Men before the full leather relaunch.
Okay,
so.
I love that one. I got one here that's on both our lists. Of course, the Avengers Volume 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that has, that has the Barry Windsor Smith stuff in it, I think, and I mean, some of those early Avengers in the early hundreds. I mean, there was a Harlan Ellison issue, some great Rich Buckler art in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, totally one of my favorite. Oh, and Savage Sword of Conan. There you go. Next in my list. And both of us, of course, are totally nuts about all of them. I know. I can remember us talking about when they get the license back, and both of us had predicted, and we were right that they would do omnibuses of all that stuff.
On our must-have lists last year, we wanted Conan, Savage Sword of Conan, and more magazines. Where did they work it out somehow with Dark Horse?
Yeah.
And eventually they just bought the rights back.
Yeah.
And they're going to be launching a new ongoing series, so of course, reprint everything. So.
As a matter of fact, I think that's this week, or it's this week or next week is that. And I guess, one more, Beasts of Burden. I actually really like that. I don't know if you've read much of that series, but it's not bad. It's Evan Dorkin, and I think Jill Thompson does some of the stuff for it.
Okay.
Okay, on to you.
All right, I have, really quickly, Peter Porker, Complete Collection.
Yeah.
The Star Comics, silly cartoony read. Obviously, they're going to reprint that because of Into the Spider-Verse.
You gotta have Spider-Ham.
You gotta have some Spider-Ham.
Cool.
Just a must-have for me because it's just a silly read. And I also got Wonder Woman by Phil Jimenez. Early 2000 run was really highly recommended. It was a run that took place right before Greg Rucka's run, which has also been collected in complete collections, and I think an omnibus as well. So that was a era of Wonder Woman which was very consistent and very well done. So
now you jumped over to yours, that one and that one there.
So
the Master of Suspense.
Master of Suspense. Obviously, you're just excited as I am for that one. So
and we know there's going to be 2 volumes of that, right?
So that's Lean Ditko. That's their mystery suspense era. Because they did a lot of those titles. They did a lot of romance, and then did a lot of westerns, which we'll talk about later in our must-haves.
Yeah.
And we also have the Oversized Silver Surfer by Liam Mobius.
Oh my God! Both were there.
The 2 issues.
Gonna love that.
Which I have in the Marvel Premiere Classics edition.
Yeah.
But to get in an oversized, similar to the Behold Galactus, is gonna be must-have.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. All right. Let's see. So where was I? Oh yeah, Harrow County Volume 2, of course. You know, I'm just gonna go insane about that. Swamp Monsters from. Because I'm a Swamp Monster fan from Yo Books, and the Doctor Strange by Donny Cates, mainly just because I heard so much good stuff about that from people. All right.
So I have Batman Hush Saga Omnibus.
Okay.
So that is going to be collect the Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee Hush Saga, and also the other issues that took place after, which was basically the Hush Returns. Just a combination of all of them to get a complete saga of the Hush. And then we also have One Run by Azzarello and Chang, finally collected in a omnibus. You have the absolute version there, so it's another version now with the rest of the story, so it's probably going to get added as well.
Okay, I figure we'll just zip through a few quick ones because we're coming close to the end there. Very quickly, I'll just read off some at the bottom of my list here. The King Kirby is fantastic, king size, the Thor one. Absolute Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, of course. DC Bronze Age Omnibus by Jack Kirby, which both of us are very excited about.
Yes.
All the stuff that isn't in any of the other ones. Shazam, the 70s collection. And for me, Night by Philip Drury, one of the heavy metal masters of heavy metal. And you got the DC Bronze Age there too at the end of your list.
That's key because that's going to be a matching spine and companion piece to the Kirby, Commandy, and then the Fourth World. So that's going to be a nice.
Well, Demon, everything's in that one.
And Sandman.
Now I do have a lot of those, of course, in those, but there's some of them. The Sandman, for instance, I don't have.
Right.
So I mean, got to get that for that alone. Now let's see. Onto our hopefuls there.
Legion. Legion of Superheroes 5 years later.
Oh yes.
And Joker Bronze Age Omnibus.
Yes,
some key ones as well.
Yeah, coming up in terms of stuff we're really looking forward to. I'll have a quick look through. Oh, Usagi Yojimbo, of course.
Right. The Inkle Oversized. The reprinting is
gonna love that.
Now
our hopeful list. You can start with that.
Yeah, I have just a couple of mine. So I had the What If Omnibus.
Oh God.
Which I'd love to see.
That would be so cool.
They couldn't really print it before because there were several Conan stories. It's What If You Were Revived today.
Geez, that's right, yeah.
So now that they have the rights back, hopefully they can probably do something with that.
Okay.
So I have, because of the Suspense, Ditko, and Lee era.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start printing the other 50s, so Marvel Romance, because there was a full line of them.
Yeah.
You do that with like the Monster Bus era, just could be a collection. And Marvel Westerns, so Rawhide Kid, Cult Kid, or Kid Cult, and Two Gun Kid.
Yeah.
Collect them, Mighty Marvel Western Omnibus.
Yeah.
And just
it would be so
them.
cool. Especially if you did a lot of the early stuff, because the early stuff with the Conan and, I mean, the Kirby and stuff like that, right?
Really nice. And I just had Doctor Strange Volume 2, so that would be the Englehart and the Gene Colan run, and I think Frank Brunner. It's only about 18, 20 issues, so you can just fit all that in.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff,
right?
right?
I mean, they collected Volume 3 in 2 omnibuses there, which is weird they just bypassed number 2.
Yeah.
Because 70s Doctor Strange is everyone's basically favorite era.
Yeah,
so
weird. So. Yeah, that's I loved, well, I got to meet Brunner. Actually, he was one of the few I never got to meet Conan, but I met Brunner, but he wasn't in too good a mood at the time. On my list of hopefuls was Spectre, where that's constantly on it.
Yeah.
The Jim of Power Spectre people for you at DC, please, hardcover. 2001, of course, from Marvel. I'd love to see them collect that, and I don't see why not. Outland, of course, the Steranko
run.
We were talking about that earlier.
And even a Steranko Marvel collection we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Because you already had his Shield
like
era.
That idea.
If you were to collect his Captain America issues, a lot of his cover work, his X-Men issues, his X-Men covers, his horror issues, just do a Jim Steranko Marvel collection as a companion piece to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just finish off all of his collection work.
That'd be beautiful. Also, I had here the Action Heroes Omnibus, because I know we're both Ditko fans.
Yeah.
And of course, a Ditko Omnibus of Mr. A and some of his wackier stuff would be cool. And Mobius Library, of course, we mentioned that. It'd be so cool to see some Arzak and some of the cooler stuff. Cerebus hardcovers, come on, Dave, Sim, out there, Dave. Are you listening, Dave? I'd buy them. I'd buy every single one of them, right? Gotham by Gaslight, now I know they're coming out with a Batman Noir, a black and white version of it, but that still hasn't come out in a hardcover, right?
It's just in a simple paperback and the sequel piece, and that's it.
And maybe an Elseworlds omnibus.
That would be really nice.
There's something we didn't think of. Okay.
They released a DC Universe, a Batman and a Superman Elseworlds paperback set. Just bound them and
there you go.
Giant collection. So
okay, Marvel premiere, and then some more of the Marvel magazines, especially Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction. It was a great science fiction magazine that Marvel put out at the time, and they're really hard to find, but some classic stuff right there. Anyway, we're right up. we read right up until almost the end of it. So I guess that's it for this year, and I'll have to have you back during the year. We can do a look forward to the rest of 2019.
Once we get the further solicitations.
Yeah, because we're up to about September, I think.
Yeah.
So
and just some books that surprise us throughout the year. Out of nowhere. So
exactly. Well, thanks a lot, folks. Once again, from a secret location hidden down in the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, this was in the Library of Graphic Literature's Big Books of 2019 edition. Thank you for being there. Thank you, of course, Dennis. And we'll see you again sometime.
All right.
Okay. See you, folks.
I'm going to leave the door.
Okay.